Hello, can you guys hear me? I'll wait a few minutes here for more people to come in before I start here. People to come in. All right, was just checking my sound there, and I'm gonna see. I'm not echoing, am I? Chat. All right. Hello, Karen, Canada. Hello, Southern Hill. Hello, Pixie, Trixie Star, Frosty, Lori. Hello. Oh my goodness. Laugh through life. How much have I missed you? You'll have to check out some of my other videos, Laugh Through Life. I know that I haven't been on Facebook in a long time, so I'll drop some links there for you too. All right, we'll get started here. So what I want to make clear right now is this is my opinion, and there will be no bashing of creators, please. And I am not here to bash any creators. I am here to give my opinion on the new things that other creators in this world of Summer Wells has brought to the table. And it is my thought. And by no means am I discrediting them or anything. It's not me attacking them. It's just me thinking out loud to you guys here that are watching. And I just am appalled by some of the stuff that came out. And maybe that's not the right word, but we'll use that one. So we're going to start with the person in the woods. I believe it was August 2nd from what I watched in the live stream, and August 15th. Not gonna go out and discredit anybody. I'm not going to say that anybody's guilty, anybody's not. I'm gonna call how I see it. So we're gonna start with the woods. I know that there was a Facebook picture of a pool where Summer was in the pool. One of the boys was on a motorcycle or a dirt bike, and then there were cinder blocks all over the yard, which was upsetting to me because if a little kid is running around following their brothers on a dirt bike and are following their brothers on a dirt bike and they're weaving in and out of all these cinder blocks, that raises red flags for me right there. I won't take that one any further, but I have some thoughts on that, and that will be in a later live. But back to the person in the woods. So if you have a 20-year-old, 19-year-old, whatever he is, I call him a young adult. An adult in my eyes would be somebody that is fully matured at the age of 25. If somebody can come up into the woods and was known to be and was caught coming out of the woods, that's lived, I don't know how long they've lived there. I don't know if they've lived there their whole life. I have not looked into that. But if he came up on the backside of the hill, which was shown last night, up towards where the camper was, and halfway up is when somebody spotted him by the workers that were working on the house. Well, let's say that he's been there, he grew up there his whole life and has been there his whole life. Well, what about if it was that easy for him to do, what about the older men that have lived there all their life, that have been in there? Let's say a 30 to 45-year-old man that has lived there his whole life. So he has 45 years of experience out in those woods, has gone in those woods many and several times. where would they be at? I mean, if you have a I don't know how old he is, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old that is in those woods, then a 30, 45-year-old that's been around there for a long time would most definitely know all about those woods and all of the trails and everything. I'm There's no blame here to say that the 18, 19-year-old did anything wrong. I mean, people are curious, and if you've been up there and you hang out with the kids and stuff, you're going to know exactly the trails on that property and stuff. I mean, there was a photo that was taken up there, so obviously they knew all the different trails on that property. But I'm talking about the other properties that are around there that go a little more dense, that or across the street or across some further woods. I don't think those kids would adventure out into those other ones, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they went to each other's properties and stuff. But what about the older adults that are in that property? That if there's a swimming pool up there, how would you know there was a swimming pool up there? You would have had to have gone up there, or you're on social media being watching your friends with whoever on social media to be able to know that there's a pool up there. I believe that there was an older male that gave a interview to somebody that went out there, another YouTuber that went out there and was meeting, and he had mentioned a pool or something, and so he knew that there was a pool there. Did he catch it off social media, or was he also up there on the hill at some point? You can't just say that just because the kid was in the woods. I mean, if you're a young adult and you get bored out there in the middle of nowhere. I grew up on a farm, and you explored. I knew all of our woods. I mean, that's not uncommon to do. And I mean, if it was a easier going through there to go up to the house to say hi to them or whatnot, who knows? Um, I just wanted to bring that to attention because you can't zero in on, and I don't think that the creators were doing that. They just wanted to bring it relevant that it was that easy for somebody to come up there into the woods. I noticed that also another person, we'll name him as TM here, that took some videos, but the videos were of different places on that property, and not on that property, but in certain areas around that property where he had stopped and gotten clearance or whatever to go in because he's a media manager or whatever. How well did he know that area? And how well do people know his other YouTube account that leads back to some not so good things? How well does he know that area? And probably rambling on here, but the other thing is that, is it known that anybody that was over there, is that how they got up to the property? I mean, did everybody that went up there to visit them, they all walked up the driveway, or they came out at different trails because it was easier to get up there? Who knows? The other thing I want to bring up, and we'll move on from the phones, is I am very curious recently in the timeline, because the timeline doesn't add up to me. I've been over on the experts panel lately. He has done some great footage of the property, or of over by Ben Hill, on Ben Hill. Showed some of that stuff, and then drove from the water hole to Walgreens, which I thought was like a 30, 40-minute drive, which on a map it looks like that, but I think it was like 9 minutes. I could be wrong. You'd have to go watch their video in order to see, but I will be putting out some, I want to do my own map on the different ways that they go from the water hole to Walgreens, and then to Sonic, or to Sonic and then to Walgreens, and what logically makes sense. I will be coming out with that now, since I know that they're all grouped together. And I know that there's two different hippie houses that are there, and I'm really curious to know which hippie house that they really went to, because that would make a difference in the timeline. Also, from the church to, or from the hospital to Allie's house was, I believe it was 9 minutes by driving the car. That was on the Experts Live yesterday that I have yet to see. I just know that the fact of the matter is it was 9 minutes. Then from Price, I think it's Priceless was the grocery store that they stopped at for the milk, which was 7 minutes from the house. But kind of doesn't make sense that they'd go there and then go drop him off back at Allie's house, because the Priceless, I believe, is on the way home. So you'd think you'd drop him off before you go to Priceless. So that doesn't add up to me either. And the time spent at the water hole doesn't add up to me either. And the reason why I'm bringing these up, and I really want to deep dive into it, because if you're lying about your timeline of that day, what else are you lying about, or what else do you know? Did grandma leave the hospital and go with them to the water hole? I don't know. You would think that she would be the one to take the TikTok video where they're at the water hole, or you didn't see her on any photos or anything. So maybe she was at the hospital the whole time and was waiting there. We don't know that. I just can't wrap my head around the timeline. It does not make sense, does not add up. I now realize by watching those videos that everything is so close to one another. And I think we need to go back and revisit. It's not going to change the time that they got home, though, because there's a TikTok video at 3:09 at them at a certain place, and there's 3:30 or whatever they got home, or maybe it was 4:30. We don't know. But that's not going to change. That's going to continue to stay the same based off of that TikTok video. Who was there when they got home? Who knows? Who was lingering around in the woods? Who knows? I just have a feeling that that there's inconsistencies in the timeline, which would make anything that they say, there's a lot of inconsistencies, and trying to decipher it is a mess. It's just something I think is important to take a look at. The other thing I want to talk about is phones in the water. So we all know from Jose coming out and talking, and Andrew coming out and talking, that somebody threw their phone into the water. Why would you throw your phone in the water? What is so important on your phone that you have to throw it in the water? And where did you throw it into the water at, and why? So we have Jose throwing his phone into the water. Then you have Candace told somebody that she threw the phone, that somebody brought her into the water, and Don's phone into the water. How much of that is true? How much of that is not true? We don't know. So as of right now, that I can't rule those as 100%. This is what happened. Candace ain't coming out and talking and saying that she threw the phones in the water. So how much of that's true, and why would you throw the phones into the water? I mean, Karen, you don't throw $1,000 phone into the water. You don't throw a $200 phone into the water. You just don't do that. There'd be a reason why you would do that. You have something to hide, or I trying to get away from the world or something. It just doesn't make sense. And I'd be really interested to know exactly where they threw their phones into the water at and why. I really hope that somebody can explain that or come out with some information on that. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I noticed there was some water and stuff there. I was speaking with somebody earlier. We're trying to and they're not in here right now. I know that they're listening, but we were going over the timeline and going over why they would stop at Priceless and why they were going here or there, doing some critical thinking stuff. And I just was thinking about the uh, Chimney Top Loop Drive, and I've been thinking about it lately. And what sense does that make unless you know somebody that's over there? So there's got to be a reason why you go over there, and what time did you really go over there? Because was that like early afternoon that you went over there, or was that like before you called the police that you went over there? Where did you go over there and potentially get rid of something because you stopped at the shed first? So were you hiding or holding something in your shed that you wanted to? And I'm not talking about a human being here. Maybe it was other objects that were in your shed that you wanted to get rid of. So you drove around to Chimney Top Loop to hand off to somebody else, meaning hiding something that is illegal that you shouldn't have had on your property and stuff. I just can't wrap my head around what is the reason you drive over there, and who do you know that's over there, and who owns that property. It just is mind-boggling to me. Um, but back to the phone, I might have missed the whole thing on the Chimney Top Loop and why somebody would drive over there. I uh, I just think that there was another reason why somebody would go down to a shed and then all of a sudden take off and go over to Chimney Top Loop right afterwards. There's got to be something else that you're hiding other than, but whether that's before he called the police or as while the police were there. What is the reasoning? Um, that just doesn't add up. As somebody that would have a missing kid or knew that your kid was missing, you go to the shed first, then go over to Chimney Top Loop. There's got to be something else that makes sense that why you would go over there. That is something I'll be looking into further. Um, the phones, if you threw phones into the water, I don't know what for. What are you trying to hide? Is she running from social media and trying to get disconnected on all levels because she can't take it anymore? I don't know. Just seems really strange and odd that you'd throw phones into the water. I don't know if that's true. It's just really interesting that some people would talk about it, and I'd really like to hear the phone call in between. That person that brought that out and Candace, and see what really is going on there. Um, the other thing is I just am just doesn't make sense that if one person can sneak around in the woods, that who else is over there sneaking around in the woods? I mean, it was easy for one person to and had no clue that there was alerts or whatever, but other people maybe have been in those woods, and you can't zero in on one person because there's other people that live over there. Some of the new information I think is very good to kind of put realization into this case. And Nana for life. Do we even know? Here, I'm gonna pop this up here. Do we even know the phone story is even true? That is my question. I can't get wrapped around my head why you'd, I mean, at least sell the phones. I mean, you got probably two $500 phones that are, why would you throw two $500 phones, or even if you sold them for $150 a piece, why would you throw them into the water? And why would somebody bring that up, whether it's facts or whether it's not? Or I mean, I really want to know. I want to hear the recording that says that they were thrown into the lake. Um, uh, I would. It's really interesting to me because you don't just come out, bring that out as somebody that talks to Candace and stuff, and that understands this case that says that, oh, I have it on recording. Well, then play the damn recording, or don't talk about it until you can bring the recording out. You're just there's rabbit holes that are being led that go down, and I think there's purpose and reason why they're brought out, but how much of it is true or makes sense, I don't get it. That's why I want to go back to the timeline and not find inconsistencies, but to better understand it. When you look on a map and you go from the Waterhole to Walgreens, it looks like it's like a 20-30 minute drive. Uh, uh, I just think that when you're looking at it on a map, it is misconstrued than when you watch a video when somebody drives there and it proves that it's only, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes away from the Waterhole, which is not very far. I mean, I don't even think I have a SIM card in my phone, but if you have Verizon or whatever, I don't think they have SIM cards. I could be wrong, but that would be a reason, I guess, you throw the phone. But you could just erase your whole phone. So why just throw the phones? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. But back to the timeline. I'm gonna go back and hunt down the actual timeline and figure it out. I now understand the area a little bit better, and I think I just think there needs to be something set so they leave like in like a written timeline with a map of the way of travel. The problem is there's so many different roads that go in and around that they could have took different routes just because there's no traffic on them, or just because they might have went the longer way, or that's the way that they always go. But I just think that there's some stuff that's not being said there. And I just was be curious just to see what the timeline has to do. But then at the end of the day, what does the timeline mean when we know that they got home? There's a video at 3:09 and they got home at 3:30. Well, to me, the only reason why the timeline is important is because if they went to all the places that they said that they did and the times that they said that they did, then and everything checks out correctly, then and they're telling the truth, I guess it's a truth factor. So if they're telling the truth there, are they telling the truth when they got home? I don't know. I just it just doesn't add up, and I don't get it. And workers, we're going to jump off of that. We'll leave that one right there. And if anybody has information on different timeline stuff or different stuff, they want to send it, it's truelevidcrime@gmail.com is my email address. If there's something that you have, or if you have an actual timeline already, or the direction of travel, or which hippie house that they actually went to, please send it my way. And then we'll jump to people on the property. So there was volunteers, I guess, that were up on to the property that we're watching. It is astonishing. It's just mind-blowing that people wouldn't think that there was other people that were in those woods, meaning other local people. If you're just a regular person, there's no way you're just gonna go walk up onto those woods and into those properties without knowing the dogs, without knowing other people's dogs, without knowing stuff. But if you could sneak around on a property, other people would be sneaking around on the property as well. I guess, does anybody have any questions? I haven't really been watching chat for the last couple minutes. Hello, Coffee Cran and Crimes. Thank you for coming. And shoot, just get a new SIM card. Yeah, why wouldn't people just get a new SIM card? That Don said prior to summer missing, he wasn't aware of a dog trail. Please, Don, I don't buy it. Well, I don't buy it either, because if you look at the dog trail, obviously it's more than a dog trail. A dog trail would be like a size of a sheet of paper. That would, like, even an animal trail. Like if you're walking onto a trail, or like I grew up in the country, so we had there's houses, like we lived across from the street from my grandparents and stuff, but the dogs would always take the same path to go from one house to the other, and it's like a quarter of a mile away. Well, they always ran the same trail to go there, so the trail was like the size of a sheet of paper going all the way there. So if you're saying that's a dog trail, if you look at the beaten path, the beaten path is way wider than a sheet of paper. Dogs usually follow the same trail 1 foot in front of the other, so it'd be the size of a sheet of paper. Just from experience of knowing a dog trail or an animal trail. What else do we have here? It seems suspicious. The time the performance began was when the neighbor was noted to come home from work and blue roofed on by habits outside. The show began, in my opinion, they observed. Yes, indeed. Anybody else have any comments or any questions? Yeah, and I think somebody noted early on, and I haven't gone back to look, but this is just allegedly there was a party there either a couple days before up on the hill, or a week before. I don't know. I just had heard that, so I was going to go back into some videos and figure that out from somebody that was talking to them. It's very close. Alley, Discount Tobacco, Hippie House, Discount Tobacco, Walgreens, then the Cove at the lake, back to Walgreens, then Sonic, from there, Priceless, back to Alley's, then back, and then toward Ben Hill. So if that is the thing, so what time are we saying? So if they left the house at 8, I think they left the house at 8 o'clock in the morning, I think. I would say that they left the house at 7:30, 8 o'clock, according to Don, I think it was. Then that means that I think it was a 54. I could be wrong, but I think somewhere it was like a 50-minute drive or 45-minute drive to the hospital from their house. I could be way wrong. I haven't looked at it yet, but let's say that that's 45 minutes to there. So you're talking 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I'm really curious what time they showed up to Allie's house, because that's only, I believe it's only 9 minutes from the hospital away. And then Discount Tobacco is not that far away. I'd have to go watch the videos, and I'll do maybe even a premiere or just a little video of of travel with everything, because I want to kind of lay out. So you're going from Ben Hill to the hospital, then to Alley's, then to Discount Tobacco, then to Hippie House. Are we saying that the Discount Tobacco and the Hippie House are the ones that are right next to Walgreens there, and then where Sonic is? So when they came back from the watering hole, they went to Walgreens, picked up the prescription, went to Sonic, which is right there on the right, within seconds. Maybe it'd take less than 2 minutes to get there. And then you go back to Priceless, and then back to Allie's house. Is that the Hippie House that we're talking about? Um, oh my goodness, you made it here. Hello, the expert. If you guys haven't checked out the expert, you should check out his page. He's taken some great footage lately, uh, and gone around and taped some stuff, and it's very clear footage, and doesn't show himself, and then he's showing you where how he's driving and where he's going and times on them. That's very good info. Um, and that's the question that I see that you said that Marlena Crawford said no party. Um, I want to go back and look at some other stuff, and I don't believe everything the creators put out there. But another creator, I believe, early on put out some information that there was a party or no party. It would be interesting to go back and look at that footage. Super close, and I think you were talking about the Walgreens, the Sonic, and the Hippie House and Discount Tobacco. They're all close to each other. Let's see here. I just have to put this one up there. If he didn't know about the trails, he's dumber than dirt. You can see the trails from the road. Exactly. You can see the brush like pulled away at the bottom of the hill where like it looks like that was a frequent traveled path up to their house. Because what makes sense into my mind is that it's easier to go up that way by the way that he was walking and stuff. Like if you were going up there, it'd be easier to get up there that way than going up the actual driveway where you could sprain your ankle on rocks, the big boulders that were sticking out of their driveway and stuff. Um, I think that's really interesting. Um, let's see here. There you go, Frosty TV. I just fixed those Frosty for you. Let's see here. Grandis took Marlena's daughter home. Well, that was that same day, or that was a different day. This is a good point. Even cows follow the same path every day. Just look on the side of the mountains or on the fields. There's cow paths. Yeah, and the cow paths would probably be the size if you turn a sheet of paper the long ways, the landscape way, and you took two sheets of paper, put them side by side, like a cow's footpath would be more like a human's kind of, where the trail that they're taking is going to be like the size of like I don't know, maybe 3 foot wide, maybe 2 foot wide, 3 foot wide. I grew up on a farm and we'd let the cattle out into like our big fields to graze the big fields after you combine corn or soybeans and stuff, and they feed off of that, and then they come back in to drink water and stuff. We have a pond on our property, but their paths are always the same, or they're following a herd, and that herd always goes the same direction of path. So there's clearly that wasn't a dog trail. The day before the 14th, that was when they took Marlena's daughter home, was the day before the 14th. Okay, so that clears that up, that there was no party or anything there. Yes, and I know Krama Mama has a very accurate timeline. And it's hard to see on the screen when I'm looking at it on the screen, but I will get with them to see their timeline, and then to put the now, since I know that everything is close together, that we could put some stuff together on the actual direction of travel and maybe put it into some type of a little map there. So, what else we got here? So Nana for Life and Coffee Crayons of Crime and the Expert, I uh, there's only one. So I see Nana for Life, but there's only one hippie house, and there's two discount tobaccos. What would be? So my question is what would be the difference between the two? Would they both sell the same exact products? So that if you're going from one to the other, because the hippie house probably didn't sell cigarettes, or they probably didn't sell twisted teas, or maybe they do, or twisted teas were bought at Walgreens, or at 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't know Tennessee's rules, but I'm buying alcohol and stuff. But at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, if you're buying twisted teas, would you buy them from Walgreens? Would you buy them from Discount Tobacco? I don't think Hippie House sells twisted teas, but I could be completely wrong. And if there's only one Hippie House, then I totally know that if it was me driving, I think Discount Tobacco is right next to the Hippie House in the video I saw. There's a sign that said Discount Tobacco, which you pull into the Hippie House, but there's a sign right at the Hippie House there that says Discounted Tobacco, and that would make sense that it's in like this little building right there. They both sold Discount Tobacco. Interesting. What does this one say? No one is more edibles and the other paraphernalia. So one is more edibles and the other is paraphernalia. So you're saying that the Hippie House is more edibles and then Discount Tobacco is more paraphernalia, or one Discount Tobacco is more edibles and the other is paraphernalia, I guess is my question. Let's see here. What is your question here? Does anyone know if Candace pretty much drives the speed limit or a little faster? I have always been curious of this. Well, I really want to zoom in onto that picture of the milk jugs where they have Candace's hands on the wheel, where they're like almost they're going around the curb and her hands are, if you're looking at a clock, so 12 o'clock being straight up. So if you're on a steering wheel with both of your hands, you're in the 1 in 10 position. Well, so her hands were in the 1 in 10 position, but then she turned the steering wheel going around. And if I was driving the car, her hands looked like they were almost in the 3 to 4 o'clock position and were stuck there for a minute on that video. And I think if we zoom in, we can see how fast she was driving on the curb, and that would determine like how fast she would drive. I mean, coming from an isolated area where they live, I would think, and not having registering time very well, because I guess even if having a phone and you can see the time all the time, I guess living in an isolated area that they lived in, I know this from living on a farm that you don't always look at your phone or whatever, and you're not in a rush. It's a slower pace of life, so you're not in a rush to go places. It's not like living where I do now, where it's like rush, rush, rush everywhere. And you got to hurry up and get here. You have to hurry up and go there. And everybody's driving 10, 20 miles over the speed limit. And you pass cops and they don't even care. I just think out there it's different, because in Iowa, in the middle of nowhere in the country, I mean, if you're in a rush and a hurry to go places, you're not going to get pulled over. You'll speed way more than 10, 20 miles over the speed limit. You'd be like more like 40, 50. But if you're not, everybody usually takes their time going anywhere. All right, let's see here. So I don't know if I answered that question. So hold on, I'll go back. So I don't know. We'd have to ask some people that have either ridden with her in there, but from a guess that I would take from an educated guess would be probably pretty much probably right at the speed limit or 2 miles over the speed limit would be my guess. Especially in a bigger in her mom's Silverado, because you would think that Candace would be used to driving the Subaru, which is a smaller compact car. So when you go into into like a pickup truck and stuff, I would think you would you would drive. She would be more cautious driving her mother's car. I know you were joking. Um, let's see here. Yes, everybody. We all hope that Frosty is recovering well. Yes, the hippie house is edibles and stuff. Okay. And then I take a discount tobacco. The tobacco stores are pretty similar. So I imagine that the hippie house gets away with more uh, of the CBD and THC 8 or Delta 8 and Delta 10 stuff than some of the other than the discount tobacco. A lot of the discount tobacco places, or at least where I live, the tobacco places sell more of. They'll have a little bit like behind the counter, but it'll be more of the CBD style as opposed to the deltas when you're stopping at a gas station. Um, let's see here. Let's see here. I think I missed Lori's. Oh, here it is. What do you all think about Chris McDonough's The Interview Room with Donna Mary call? Well, we can speak about that. I watched a lot of it from Angel Talks No More today, or Angel Talks Too Fast today. I was there listening and stuff, and I was really bothered by some of the stuff that Don said onto the phone, and it was apparent that he had no clue that what was going on, and he had no clue that he was being recorded or whatever. He was speaking more freely. I think Don's in a lot of trouble. And then as far as the whole comment where he was in California and new places to sell kids and stuff was very, very something that a normal person just doesn't say. I don't know why he went into left field there and wanted to tell his sister that he's been there and seen those type of places. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Let's see this here. Do they sell different stuff? Twisted Tea came from Orange Discount Tobacco on the corner of Fort Henry and Warpath. All right, I'll have to take a look. I'll have to take a look at that then, because that's interesting to me. So that's the discount tobacco that they went to. So they went to the hippie house, then they went to that place, or vice versa. We'll be able to figure it out. But she used to have the Suburban and the big maroon van. That's interesting too. That makes a good point. If you have a Suburban, that big green, I think it was a green Suburban, right, in their driveway. Um, I think that that makes a good point. I just know if you drive a Subaru a lot. So if you're driving a Subaru from I don't know when she got it, but I thought it was in January. I thought when she got the Subaru, so that would make sense that if you drove the Subaru everywhere, but maybe she drove her mom's truck a lot. But I do think that if we rewatch the video, that you could see what type of what the speed limit is, or at least close to what it is, based off of the speedometer and where it's positioned on that video. So when you see her around town, seems to be the speed limit. That makes sense. Um, Interesting. Anybody else have anything else? Otherwise, we will stop it here if anybody else has any questions. And I guess in closing, what we will do, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. That goes a long ways. And I guess the biggest point of this whole live was to bring out some of the current stuff that creators are showing, which is relevant. And I do applaud them for bringing some of the stuff out. The thing is when you bring out stuff and you got a lot of drama going on around this case and you don't know what's facts and you don't know, and you're trying to pin down facts and you're trying to pin down truths and stuff and consistencies in people's information that they're putting out there. The thing is about receipts. So earlier when they were speaking about the kid in the woods, or not a kid, I guess it's a young adult. When you're speaking about them in the woods, that I was very, very happy that they put out that there was 3 eyewitnesses that all saw the same thing on both occasions. And that's important because you're not just saying, you're not just accusing or anything. There's actual substantial stuff behind it. At the same time, there's no video, no video footage of it. So yeah, could it be hearsay? Yes, maybe it's not. I guess the point is that in this case, we're going off of a lot of he said, she said, and video and paper proof and stuff helps make stuff more believable. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. It just helps when you bring something out into this world to have proof behind it, whether it's a phone call, whether it's this or that. It helps kind of pin stuff down. That this is the biggest roller coaster ride I've ever been on, and it's like a never-ending roller coaster ride. And I just wish that when people put stuff out, which I applaud them for, they had interviews with people that were there, they had interviews with other eyewitnesses and stuff, which is great, fantastic. That's the way things should be done. Not just come out and say, hey, they threw Jose threw his phone in the water, or hey, Candace threw the phone that was bought for her and Don's phone into the water, and I have a video to prove it, but then the video is not out there. But you bring that out to the table, it's not fair to people that are actually trying to pinpoint stuff down or trying to take stuff and run with it. I just wish that they're bringing out stuff that they heard or whatever, but it better helps people like me trying to figure out things, or just trying to follow along and trying to do the best that you can to not put out misinformation, or not to down another creator or anything, or try to sort things out and doing some critical thinking and trying to make things make sense. It just boggles your mind and takes you in a different direction. And that I hate that about this case, because then you flip on another channel and they're bringing out something else, and it just makes things worse. It makes the roller coaster go faster for you. Lori, at the end of the call, he pressed reasons why he called, asking her to talk with Jeannie, who the 5 women are. He wants another chance at apology without justifying. The apology is there is no apology to what you did in the past. Not what he did. And he can apologize all he wants. What was done was done. So it's not going to make things any better or stuff. And I don't understand in my mind how apologizing to them is going to fix anything. To me, he's been an apologist all his life. That's my personal opinion, is he apologized for almost everything. it sounds that's kind of how he goes through life. He apologizes and gets away with things, and in my mind, just from listening to different stuff. So that would be why I would think that he would go do that. Let's see here. What else did I miss? I know where the video was recorded in time, just getting my own timeline at the stated times. Correct. Sassy_2. That is what I kind of want to do too. I just kind of want to piece everything together and then kind of just go through the motions of what happened that day. And I'm not saying that there's not inconsistencies or stuff. That's not the point of it. I want to kind of wrap my head around the timeline just for my own understanding. I mean, I was amazed the other day at the experts video from going to the water hole into where Walgreens was and his drive and watching different stuff and how close everything was. I didn't realize that it was on top of each other. So now that makes me want to go back, and I was always imagining that the timeline, like I was thinking, so you're in Rogersville, you're up on a hill, you're in like country, and I don't put into perspective that Kingsport is like 60,000 people or whatever it is, but you don't put into perspective that everything is right there. I was thinking that, okay, so it takes 20 minutes to drive over here to the hippie house. And then from the hippie house, it takes another 10 minutes to go to the discount tobacco place. Then it takes another 10 minutes to get over to Walgreens. So you're talking about 30 minutes of time. But if it only took 1 minute of your time to get in between the different stores, that changes a lot of different things for me. And that changes a lot of different time that was spent at the water hole. And then what time they really left the watering hole to go back to Walgreens and then to Priceline. It just changes some things that helps me understand what they did that day and kind of puts it into my perspective and puts my mind at rest on the timeline. I guess that's why I want to do that. And I suggest for people to do their own little thing on it, kind of put it into perspective of to free your mind, kind of the importance of what the timeline is. I don't know if there's any importance there. The timeline may be all correct. Well, who knows? I don't think we'll ever figure that out unless the metadata from the phones comes out. But I have a feeling that that won't come out until for a long time down the road. So, and that will be very interesting when it does. Let's see what else here. That is very true. I think that they think that it's justified why whoever they did it to should not do anything, like not seek legal action to them. It's very disturbing on his little mental games that he was trying to play. It just blows my mind that he would go there. The video was taken on store. I don't know what that is. What else do we got here? What do you think happened? You want to share? I will share. So, by the experts, and I talk about him a lot here because he has done some fantastic videos that have. So I guess from the start of this, like I got involved in this because it's not that I want to know what happens. It's kind of like a mystery, like figuring out. There's a lot of talking, like it's one of the first cases I've actually like followed like really close. Like I've watched like Adventures with Purpose, Profiling Evil, The Interview Room. Obviously, It's a Crime, 10 to Life. I watched those, but this one kind of gave me a deeper into the space of like an actual case where parents actually speak. There's a timeline. There's all this YouTube stuff done around it, and I guess for my peace of mind, you have a list, right? So you start with a list, you start with the timeline. Many people put it out. Then the parents' claims abduction, right? So they tell the news, they come out with this thing. I'm just going to say Volstrom. If Volstorm, if somebody can go grab his link, Also, he's on the expert when he's doing the lives there, and I have to applaud them. They did some really good videos for us. Um, but you start with a list and you say, okay, so somebody just sneaking up there onto the hill. Well, can you check mark that off of the list or can't you? Uh, Somebody that they knew that took her, can you check mark that off the list or is that still in play? An accident, can you check mark that off the list or is that still in play? Accident at the watering hole, can you check mark that off of the list or is that still in play? An accident that happened a couple days earlier, can you check mark that off of the list? And they just didn't realize that there was uh, something happened a couple days earlier and she was fine all the way up until that day. Do you check mark that off the list or can't you? The I guess the elimination for me is by watching the expert's video and going into a holler like that that's run by people of that holler and they don't see cars coming in and out of there every day. Obviously, we were told that there was traffic there. Don State said there's needles all over the woods. I don't know how true that stuff is. But all I can see from going like in the clear video that I got and stuff, the one thing I can rule out is that you're not just going to walk up onto that hill without knowing how to get up there or without knowing the property. So if she was taken, I could check mark off that somebody just randomly pulled off of whatever that major road is there, just pulled off and just walked right up the hill. There's no way. No way. I mean, you would that's very, very risky. There was somebody that was camping there that would know those woods. I mean, if you're camping there, what are you doing during the day? If you're camping, obviously walking around in those woods, just throwing that out there. Other people could be walking in those woods, but for some reason, you just don't go missing like that. I think familiar, like I just think that you can check mark off somebody not knowing her, just some stranger abduction. You can check mark that off the thing. Um, I think that familiar abduction, trafficking by Don's video that came out. I mean, it's a very good possibility still. I just trying to watch some older videos now after the new videos that have come out and stuff. I want to go back and watch some of the older videos to see if you can check mark some stuff off of the list. I mean, the the picture of the cinder blocks and stuff. I had this thought earlier, the cinder blocks and stuff. I mean, that's very dangerous as a kid if you fell and hit your head or something. I mean, it could take a couple days before that affects you or anything. So there's a lot of different possibilities here. Um, at this point, everybody's a suspect, and I'm not ruling out anything. Searches were done in certain places that, for a reason, obviously, law enforcement knows better than anybody, and they're on top of it. I just don't want to go too far in depth, but my real thinking is because there's two possibilities that I can think of, but I would say familiar abduction / trafficking or drugs or something to do with that. It was somebody that knew would be familiar abduction, or there was an accident and there was a problem. And for what reason you want to cover that up, I don't know. Sometimes when stupid things like that happen and you're embarrassed and you don't do the right thing and you go with a narrative, that's a big problem. And once you start it, you just have to continue to ramble on with the lies. So, and you would not want to come out with it right now. You would not ever want to tell anybody. And those are the two things. Those are my two. And you can't check mark either one of them off of the list. And I don't know if you ever can check mark those off unless some more stuff comes out. Trying to read some more comments here, but I think going back to the beginning helps some. Yes, indeed. I know somebody else said something here. Let's see here. I was going back to I think going back to the beginning helps some. I think I just put that one up. Yes, the process of elimination. Yeah, I mean, we can only go by the information put out on YouTube. You can't go by the information that, like facts, like, so this, we're gathering. The only thing we can do, and I hear this on Karma Muhammad's channel all the time, the only thing you can do is go by facts that are put out from other YouTube channels, whether they're facts, whether they're not facts. We have to use our best judgment, but all you can do is mark those down, save them. And I saw John QQ came in here. Uh, Hello, John. And even the chimney top loop little thing that he did on there, all you can do is show us the information, and then we can hold that information and then use like the process of the elimination. Why was chimney top loop relevant? Well, you make a list of why it's relevant, and you have to start checking them off. I don't think we'll ever figure out what that is or why that was relevant that day. But how much of the information that's on the internet that is actually true, um, you just have to go by what's put out there, which is kind of interesting. Let's see here. Agree. Going back to the beginning, especially while plugging in everything we've learned in 11 months. What else do I got here? Yeah, that's the whole thing. And I noticed that some people were in defense on the person in the wood running out of the wood, and which any mother would be in defense, but at the same time nobody's clear in this case, and nobody's coming out as suspects, as not suspects, as they're cleared, they're not cleared. In other cases that you see that out there where children go missing, some people get cleared right away, some people don't. And I just find that very interesting that nobody's cleared. I think the investigation is very, very active. They are still looking into people. And yeah, the one thing that I do want to throw out there is that the only good from all the drama coming out onto the internet is keeping this story alive. People are still talking about her, and uh, I think that the coverage is good because people still talk about her. People are still digging into it. I just don't like all the drama surrounded by it. It kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth about it, and some of it I think is ridiculous and needs to stop, and others the awareness is still there. I just wish that some of the people would incorporate some of the other missing that are out there into the stuff. Um, Hello, Crema Mama. If you haven't checked out their page, go check out their page. They put out some good information and more fact-based stuff. Let's see here. Anybody else have any questions before I wrap this up here? That is a very good point. We'll just give it a couple more minutes here. And if y'all are in for some laughs, tonight's live is not related to Summer Wells or mystery, but more of a slap contest. Love y'all, and Levitt we trust. the expert tonight, it's kind of a Friday night wind down. If you're not doing anything, want to free your mind, they talk about all different kind of stuff. It's like a group of people that get together and have fun on a Friday night. It's really a fun time. I was there last Friday night. It was really fun. Any other questions here? I don't think so. I think we'll leave it right there. I'm gonna get going. John Q, if you want to get together and do some maps sometimes, or I want to, John Q, if you haven't checked out the expert, there's a link in the chat. He kind of shows the video, and you can use that video. He kind of uses that video to show like the path, John, like how close it is, and like real good quality content. And I think they better understand on some of the maps that you do that like how far it really is, and puts it into a better perspective there. So on that note, please hit the thumbs up. What does it say? Due to high emotional exchanges of recent, for myself, I listened to call between Mary and Don without narrative and angry chats, using my own critical thinking and quiet when I form my own opinion. Yes. All right. Thank you all. And on that note, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you all for being here and listening to me ramble on.